Fancy meeting you here in this little old place. I'm Tish, and this is Echo Echo. How we going, everybody? It's been a while since I've done a proper video. That last one, nearly killed me. I just couldn't get it happening. Hey, like it was just nutso. And I retaped it like 3 times, and each time I just had some sort of issue. So then I decided, I'll put the original, but I won't have the video there so it doesn't stress anyone out. Anyway, we're back with another reaction, Anti-MLM, and I was thinking to myself, what should we do today? Who's hot? Who's not? What do we need to know about? And had a little bit of a search for the Awakend people on just the Google and Facebook. And then just having a look on Google, I found this podcast. So it's called the 7-Figure Network, and it looks like it's the first episode, and it started in April this year. 33 minutes. And where's the thing about the people? So 7-Figure Network is Melford. No one's called Melford. What? That's not a name. Sorry, please like and subscribe. 250 plus. Oh my god, shut up. I mean, don't shut up, like keep talking, but that's crazy. I'm very excited. Thank you. Love. Parasocial love, you know. So Melford and Concetta, I pronounce words good, are here to help you discover how to surround yourself with the perfect 7-figure network. Why am I doing? Stop. And build your network marketing business using up-to-the-minute advice from industry legends, master coordinators, top trainers, and company executives/owners, including the one-to-many model Concetta and I have used for over a decade. No space. Look, I know that it still makes sense, right? But we leave a space in between the exclamation mark and the next letter. Well, some people leave 2 spaces. You'll be inspired, motivated, and have exact step to follow that'll lead you to the highest level of success you desire. It might not be easy, but it doesn't have to be hard. The copy on the end bit is terrible. Exact steps to follow that'll lead you to the highest levels of success you desire. Okay. I feel like I need to pop my, Okay, so it says her name is spelt like Danielle, but pronounced Danielle. So Danelle Meoli is a passionate and faith-filled entrepreneur. We went 1 sentence in. She is a multiple 7-figure earner in the direct sales industry with a team of nearly 500,000 across 8 countries. A team for who? She is also an inductee into the 2020 Grow Pro $1 Million Hall of Fame and 2021 $1 Million Circle with the company she represents. She hosts her own podcast, Oh Damn, which launches in May 2022. Daniela is devoted to helping, where did it go? People rewire their thought life. so they can begin to win in life at levels they never thought possible. She hosts, oh, I already said Danelle has spoken all over the world on mastering one's mindset to attract in success in every area of one's life. Possessive apostrophe, please. Discover exactly step by step, how to recruit and enroll businesses and health professionals into your downline. Health professionals? Why do we need health professionals? That you have hundreds. This is really poorly written. Discover exactly how to recruit and enroll businesses and health professionals into your downline that have hundreds of built-in customers who need your product or opportunity. So you want people who have customers, like if they're already nurses or whatever, they've already got some customers for something else and you're going to recruit them for whatever she's got. God, what company is this? It's only in May. This is only like 4 months ago. 3 months ago. All right, let's do it. Better than Dave Hollis's.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the Seven Figure Network podcast. Today, I am so excited because I actually get to interview somebody I know. It never works out this way. It's so funny. I get to meet so many amazing people in this industry, but Danelle and I actually grew up in the same town. Super cool. She is married to one of my best buddies growing up. So it's really amazing that not only do I get to talk to a friend on this interview, but somebody who's made it to the top of the company and is truly leading the path in health products that's going to blow you guys away. I'm not going to ruin it. You guys know that I don't tell other people's stories because I never do it as good as they do. So first and foremost, Danelle Meoli, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate you coming on.
I'm thrilled to be on. Thank you so much.
So again, I'm not going to tell your story. I want you to. So do me a favor and just tell me what got you into the industry in the first place.
The '08 crash, in a nutshell. I owned a gym back then in Guilford, where we grew up. I owned a franchise gym with my ex-husband. We owned a construction company. I had a small beauty business. So we owned 3 small businesses, but the main being our construction company, boutique style, for the shoreline of Connecticut. And when the '08 crash hit, we literally almost went belly up. We were fighting to keep our contractors that we hired. We were fighting to keep food on their table and not just ours. So it was a real struggle. Once that crash hit, everything came to a halt. Imagine being all commission based in your house. Plus I was getting my real estate license like 6 months earlier, thinking, all right, I can do something with the market, right? It's all in the family.
How interesting. She said that it sounded like they kept that business afloat. It sounds like a pretty privileged position to be in, considering the '08 crash or the GFC, the global financial crisis, for anyone who is too young or they were a kid when this was happening. She's very, she's into it.
And little did I know, worst time to get involved in real estate back then. But that was my turning point for getting into network marketing. I was a big heck no to everyone who's ever prospected me over the years. And when the '08 crash hit, our good friends, who were also our accountants and still are to this day, told us about a company and an opportunity that was very young, an 18-month-old company in wellness, and said, Danelle, you're super dynamic. You could crush this. And their invite was, it could be your golden ticket to bring in some income. And I was like, rolled the eyes. I love them and they're awesome human beings and we respect them. Thankfully, their credibility did matter, in this, and it does matter when you speak to people. But we tabled it for a week, and then my ex-husband, who was my husband at the time, looked at me and said, maybe it could keep our cars on the road, maybe it could put some food in the house, maybe it could just be a side thing. And I'm like, I have enough to juggle with kids and, working several businesses. Like, the last thing I wanted to do was take anything else on. But quite frankly, thank God that happened to us. Thank God we literally went into foreclosure and we're $750,000 in debt, because I wouldn't be where I am today. And I wouldn't be living literally a dream life, because all I had with me was my hustle and my heart at that point, and I had rock bottom. And so that's what got me into.
No, you had like your business, obviously, because you said that your business was okay. I am moving my mic around at the moment because I'm trying to find a good spot for it. Still haven't found it. And I'm also embroidering, but I've got my embroidery camera, so might incorporate some side bits, especially because this is a podcast and there's no vision. All right, let's keep going.
To the industry.
And what was, you said you were in health and fitness the first time, a health and wellness company?
It was a health and wellness company that was 18 months old. They're no longer in business, but I was there for 4 years, and I didn't know anything about anything. I was ignorance on fire. I just knew that people would possibly see what I saw, so I knew I would get some yeses. This was before Facebook, before I was on social media. It was basically 2011, April of 2011. I ended up breaking the company record, fastest to diamond in all 4 countries in 8 weeks. The record was 16 weeks. I was not trying to break it, Bill. I did not care. I just didn't want my house to be auctioned off. So I was literally, you know, Jim Rohn says inspiration or desperation are the two reasons why people make massive change. I was desperate, but I was also inspired because
How interesting again that, like, she said that her house was in danger of being foreclosed, but she didn't say that before. And didn't she say that she still has the other business survived or whatever? I'm a bit confused. Now, she's obviously from the old school because she's talking about Jim Rohn, who was Eric Worre's mentor. And it's all just like this little, continuous circle jerk of people who know each other and et cetera, et cetera.
someone told me about getting into companies before they hit momentum and catching them on their way up. And I thought, well, if there's anything that's going to compress time for us and help us dig out of this hole fast, would be me running with this, because I was excited about the products they were selling and the science behind it. But I knew I wasn't going to sell science. What I was selling was the dream of extra income, or selling health and improvement in what people could be purchasing for their health. And so,
Ooh, was that a little bit of a nod to I was going to sell the money part of it? Because that's what it sounded like to me then.
and so that's all I shared with people was my excitement, my confidence in myself as a team leader. And I think people smelled my like desire and passion, because when I spoke with everyone, I was like, listen, I'm okay if you tell me no. I'm just telling you, I'm taking this to the top. And if you were thinking about doing a side business, you might want to join me. And it worked because I was being authentic and I was ignorance on fire. I didn't know anything about network marketing. And by the end of that first year, I was at like 8,000 a month steadily.
That's the second time she's used that phrase, ignorance on fire. It doesn't sound like you were ignorant. It sounded like you knew exactly what was going on. It sounded like you had a plan based on being somewhat honest about what the intentions were. Join my team, we'll make money, etc., etc. But that's not ignorance. You knew exactly what you were doing.
And to me, that was like life-changing money. And to make 6 figures a year from it part-time while still digging out of a massive hole and dealing with creditors. And it was like magical. I'd be on stage and people would think, oh, this girl's crushing it. And then I'd go home and I had this whole other life of, where am I going to take this 8,000 when I'm 750,000 in debt? It's like putting a drop of water on a massive fire. But I stayed.
Oh, does that mean you were flexing and showing off a life that you didn't actually have?
The course, because I saw that it worked, and I saw that it gave me flexibility and the ability to help others while helping ourselves. And I just became very passionate about network marketing because it was this missing link for us, so that's how it happened.
Listening to your story, it almost makes me think about now. And the reason I'm saying that is because you were an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Things went sideways. And you kept being an entrepreneur even though you joined network marketing. You didn't become a quote unquote network marketer. You were just a driven entrepreneur that ran like a maniac. And are you seeing that today? And the reason I'm asking that is because, the Great Resignation seems to be driving a lot of folks like that into our industry. A lot of folks who've never been in network marketing before, who probably should have. They've got a marketing background. They've got a sales background. They've been highly successful in retail. Are you seeing...
Anyone with a brain who's been to business college knows that network marketing is only good if you have the ethics, well, the lack of morals to make your money off people in an unethical way. And people with business degrees and that sort of thing, they know. And I think the only thing that's changed is that people were more easily manipulated because brand ambassadors and people like that, people recruiting, were able to spin it in a certain way and make it look a certain thing. They call it different names, social selling. They definitely are all about the manipulation and tricking people into the situation. Like the iGenius people who were contacting micro influencers saying, come along to our event. It's for influencers. It's about this, but really they get there and it's about freaking crypto education. So I don't think that's accurate at all.
That the new level of entrepreneurship is helping the growth of the industry right now?
I do see that. And if you look at the Google trends and what's being searched, home-based businesses are still ranking in number 1 and 2 searches every month after month for the last few years. Home-based business and how to make money from home or how to make money online is booming. And some of it is listen.
Do we have a source for that?
Prior to the pandemic, this, big box retail was dying. Everybody was looking to shift to online incomes. Now it's becoming the hot new thing. And I'm like, boy, we were in it. We're the OGs. We were in it before it was cool. We were in it when people still made fun of it. I don't get a lot of the, oh, you're doing network marketing. I don't get that because direct sales, AKA network marketing, is everywhere now. Everyone wants to make money from their phone. So I don't get a lot of the objection of that. I see that people are like, which one should I do? Because there's a whole boatload of options out there. And you just have to find the one with the right timing, the right leadership that you resonate with. And then when you get in, you got to do the work, right?
Absolutely right. So let's talk about these last couple of years. I'm not going to get negative. I'm not going to talk about a lot of lockdown stuff because you know me, I'm a positive guy. I want to keep everybody smiling, but
you can talk about the last couple of years without being like completely negative. Toxic positivity, like it was a reality of life. There were restrictions and now there's not. Well, there's less.
I would like to ask you personally, what have you done with your team over the last 2 years to keep that growth phase going? And the reason I ask is because, some companies did this, a lot of companies did this, and a lot of companies did that. And I know you've done great personally. I know your company's done really well. So what's been your quote unquote secret over these last couple of years to get through this?
One word, you got to pivot. We pivoted. I didn't just pivot as an individual. Our company made a proactive decision to pivot the minute we saw the lockdowns hitting, and we all masterminded together as a family, even though it was difficult to stop seeing each other in person and not be on a stage or not hug people after a nice event or bonding with people. We learned to pivot and adapt. And this is a world right now that requires us to adapt in an enormous fashion, in a way sometimes it's overwhelming to all of us. I'm still not fully adapted to being home as much as I am. I'm very extroverted, as you and I are. I don't love being home 97% of my week. However, I have learned that I never have to leave my house to build a business. And right now I'm in our group is in 9 countries, all through this type. I do WeChat, I do Zoom. I take advantage, and so do so many people around the world, of the technologies that we're blessed with in order to help us build businesses and help one another to spread the word about things that we are passionate about, that we, we're monetized for. So I just get paid to tell the whole world right from my phone, about great products that are available to them that they may not know about. So we've pivoted, but the companies who haven't, and they're diehards to coffee meetings and belly to bellies, they're not understanding, or they're trying to do events in hotels. It's just not conducive right now to fast accelerated growth. And the slower you are, the more painful the build is. And this business loves fast and loves speed.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
So I do it fast, and I hit as many people as I can in a very welcoming way, very authentically. And if they like what they see, we do business, and we discuss what level of business we're going to do, whether it's products or join the team. But we do it right to our phones, and we learn to adapt or die. And that's what you got to do.
Everybody does it on their phones. Like, that's not a flex at all. I don't think anyone, well, other than the super spreader events last year, but also I am working on my video for Weasel Words, and I'm doing pivot and define some of the Weasel Words, and pivot is on the list. So it's so interesting that she said we had to pivot. I still don't know what company she is in for this particular thing. So it'll be interesting to see if they finally say it, because she's obviously an independent person now. But it sounds like she's got the way with words. So it's not surprising that she has launched her own company.
It's amazing how few people have adapted. I mean, you and I were using Skype when it was new. People didn't even know what teleconferencing was. Now it seems like everybody in the world's got a Zoom account. Skype doesn't even exist anymore. But hey, let's go a little bit more into international, because I know that you guys are working really hard on international expansion, and every country has been very different.
Yes.
Australia, nightmare. Canada, nightmare. I mean, there's just been so many things. So what have you guys done specifically?
What do we do? What? Excuse me, we're not nightmares. Boop.
To keep your international growth expanding and not just sort of going.
So Australia and New Zealand we NFR'd those, which is opened as a not for resale market over a year ago for both. And right when we opened, we saw growth and teams and excitement. And I was up late at night doing meetings for everyone in Australia and New Zealand. I was super excited. And then boom, their lockdowns became stricter than literally anything I had seen, except for Canada. And slowly those teams died off, sadly. I mean, we're still in communication with a lot of them, but they're really suffering right now. So to answer your question, one is our company, and this is important when you choose a company, you choose a company that has the ability to scale and that is debt-free. That, and those are hard to find, and you better do your due diligence because we have the ability in our company to scale into multiple markets. And we are now in, like I said, 9 countries. We're about to open Malaysia, Singapore, the European Union, and several others. But we've been working double time to open markets that prior to the pandemic took half the time, right? So delays, there's concerns, there's issues just because of COVID, and some of it's just the typical paperwork, governmental stuff. What I definitely have noticed is that for us, Asia, because our products are youth and health and wellness based, and Asia is where we're doing incredible sales. So we're in Hong Kong, Taiwan, China just opened, Japan, and I did see a slowdown in the US and Canada when this all hit, but it's so weird. I still haven't been able to pin down a pattern. I'm super analytical, and maybe you can offer some insight to those listening. But for us, all we can say is it's being such a different culture in Asia. I know they're going through the hell we are too, but they just find a way to. I mean, their work ethics are insane. I mean, they make me feel lazy, and I consider myself to be a workhorse, and they just make it happen. So I am very grateful and blessed for our incredible Asian groups. We have 65, last I checked, 65 diamonds just in two of those countries. Just incredible. So that's what I'm seeing, is that Asia is still booming and growing really rapidly. Australia, New Zealand has slowed down tremendously. Canada, they're on fire, but again, lots of delays and issues there, especially with shipping. And the US, we hit momentum twice and we're going back into it. It tends to do this, but it's okay. Part of the business, right? I mean, it ebbs and flows. You just go where you know it's hot, and you diversify your markets so that you don't rely on one market. I'm always asking my people, who do you know in China? Who do you know in Japan? Who do you know here in the US who knows people that have strong ties? Those are the questions you should be asking as a network marketer if you would like to see your business expand. I didn't have to fly to any of those countries. And, you know, out of almost 500,000 people in our organization, we have like 2/3 are in Asia. It's incredible. It's wild.
But
yeah,
sharing that's very powerful, because everybody thinks, oh, I got to fly to Japan. And congratulations on Singapore, by the way. Singapore.
Oh, I can't wait.
Awesome market.
Yeah.
Awesome
you
market.
don't
awesome
have,
people.
and you have to speak it out too. You have to believe that you can expand there. And all I do is work with translators. I never thought I an Italian Greek girl who can use plenty of words. I literally have to go, if you were the translator, and I have a group, I had 127 people who speak English the other night, right, from multiple Asian countries, and they're asking me questions, right, the translator in English, then someone else has to translate what he asked me, and then I have to do my answer but break it into chunks and still make it powerful. And one day I realized, like, this is fun, this is exciting. I'm talking to people I would have never talked to before. We're all getting healthier, we're all feeling good, we're all building businesses together, we're across the world from each other, 13 hours apart, and yet you're making friends. I love hanging out with these people, and they get excited, and you know, we all cheer, and we have no idea what each other is saying, but we're making friends all over the world and having a blast. So
that's great. I'm so happy for you guys. Hey, you know, you talked about the fact that you had an issue, obviously, with Australia. You know, how has retention in America been affected? Let's get back to the domestic market for a minute.
We have a very unique situation that happened in our company. We exploded out of the gates. That's very rare. We did 65 million in our first year, and we ran out of product, and the company almost imploded. You can actually scale too fast. A lot of people know that, but if you don't know that, it's actually dangerous to grow too fast, especially if you don't have. We had no infrastructure. We had
Elamir. Do you know that, Elamir? Grow too fast? But is that entirely accurate? I mean, it could be too fast where the authorities notice you.
We didn't have a legal department. We had 2 people in the shipping department, and yet we were getting tens of thousands of orders a month. We didn't have enough product, and we didn't even have a manufacturer who could keep up. So we had a very unusual launch. Year 2, we did 124 million, which is double, right? But in the middle of the first year of the pandemic, we did 272 million. Why? Because we pivoted. So, you know, it's been wild to see, but I'm all about, like, just do whatever you can to share your story, because it's a story that sells. I don't sell. I never want my people to sell. I share the story of how I'm down 2 dress sizes on 2 of our products that I've been using. My husband's using the same products, losing weight, putting on muscle. So I teach people, if you work on yourself and your story, and then you learn to share it in an authentic way, people will be attracted. So we're doing a lot of, like, sharing of stories, but our company we didn't have the typical launch. Now we're seeing, to fully answer your question, now we're seeing, like last year, we did feel the effects of the pandemic, even though we did probably anywhere from 150 to 200 million. We did see some rollback, because rightfully so, there are people who literally have nowhere to live, who've lost their jobs. Last thing they're going to do is be able to do a side business when they don't even have a main income. So we did see that. And I think overall, even though we're seeing an influx of people who want to do what we do, we're still seeing that people have this mindset of panic. And I tell people, you can't build a business in panic. I built it with, yes, I was very passionate and very desperate, but you can't be panicked. You have to be postured and you have to be focused. And so I tell people, don't come in if you're panicked. Go do something that is like where you're working in a restaurant, get your stable check, even if it's only a couple hundred a week to stabilize you. And then over time, we could build something of real value. If you come in.
That was condescending. Go and get your other check if you can't handle being in this kitchen. Just wanted to add here that it's evident that Danielle really does recognize the desperate situation that a lot of people were in. And, that makes it even more scammy that she's now started a company, because obviously she understands how they work. Before, she mentioned that, timing is a factor and all of that sort of thing. Now, the other thing she said, I wasn't panicked. Well, do you know what? When you told that story about being heavily in debt and, your mortgage, and you were on stages, but then going home to problems, that sounded like it was a bit of panic. So, do you want to get your story straight? Or do you need to look like the victim? It's all perception management. It's like, what are the optics for this? And how am I going to come off? Because I need to come off as not only like boss CEO, even though she wasn't the CEO at this point in time, as boss, upline, while also maintaining that Rachel Hollis realness.
Into network marketing thinking you're going to make a fortune overnight. It's not realistic. Can you, over time, this, make something very significant? Sure. But get yourself settled first into something that gives you that peace of mind to, put gas in the car, and then join something that doesn't have a lot of overhead and focus on building that, because that, like Jim Rohn said, work on your fortune part-time, because over time you can replace what you're doing, but you have to be patient. You have to understand that it can take sometimes 2 to 3 years to build something of huge value, but 24 to 36 months is a drop in the bucket compared to staying broke. In my mind, that's what I tell people. But I never want someone coming in thinking that we're going to solve their problem with them overnight. It really is, you have to educate them on what's realistic so that they don't get discouraged, because discouragement is the number one reason people quit.
Great point.
I don't think so. I think the number one reason why people quit is because of money, and lack of money.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the family aspect now, because being so involved, growing so fast, being the driving force behind this company and seeing this massive growth, I'm sure, and again, we both have kids, we obviously know each other very well. How have you been able to balance out this massive growth and time involvement and still keep everything working in the house?
Well, yeah, I had a lot going on. I had, trying to merge 2 families at the same time that this was exploding, introducing my kids to his kids, and trying to blend a family. Since he's my high school sweetheart, relearning each other, reconnecting, hearing, so there was that going on at the same time. So if you can have what I had going on, which is, the devastation of divorce after 15 years, and then reuniting, and then at the same time joining, literally before we reconnected, joined the company I'm in now, and did not see like this massive growth happening, and it just exploded. So my life was like, what the heck is going on? And so, yes, it took a bit to get organized. 2 things that I always teach people and if you're not a good time management person, it's such a good skill to learn. To write things down and schedule it out. I literally schedule my whole day, and I schedule my week out, my months out. And if things don't get done, I move them to the appropriate day that week that I think I can get it done. But it keeps me productive so that I can cook for my family. I can have time to go for walks. Like tonight, right after this, we're going to the gym. It's scheduled in. We don't let ourselves get out of that schedule often. Yeah, everyone needs a mental health day, but if you want this business to really grow, and you've got to schedule time to build your business, but you can build it around your life. That's one of the most phenomenal things. So 1 is time management. And 2 is gratitude. If I knew how powerful gratitude was, if someone had taught me in school or as a kid how important and powerful gratitude was, I probably would be farther along than I am today by far. Gratitude and staying in a place of, I'm so grateful that I have the ability to work from home. I have the chance to be in my sweats right now, go upstairs and work out, then go cook a kick butt dinner, have enough money to finally buy nice, good steaks and good chicken. And like, I didn't have that life. So I'm perpetually in the place of gratitude. Doesn't mean I don't have bad days. Doesn't mean I don't get, as my kids say, salty. But I do try to like shift my perspective so that on a day where I'm overwhelmed because I'll maybe have meetings in the morning and then I have people late at night in other countries, I always say to myself, thank you, God. And thank you for this entire, not just God for what he's providing, but for the ability to do this kind of business. Because
I don't think it's got anything to do with God. Oh God, these people. But that's what it says. She's the faith-based something. What did it say? Faith-filled entrepreneur. What'd she invent? Just an accident?
not everyone's blessed to make a ton of money yearly and still have the freedom to do pretty much what I want when I want. If I want to sleep in, I do. It's rare, but I do. If I want to take the day off.
Oh, isn't that nice? She doesn't have to, but she does. She does occasionally. Oh man, I would wake up at midday every day if I could.
Go on vacation, I'm still making money. And so I always try to keep it in my mind. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Early on in network marketing, when you're building a direct selling business, you better be really good while you're working your full-time job. You're raising your kids or you're hanging out with your grandkids and you've got the gym and you've got groceries and you got to pay bills and you've got maybe some debt that's stressing you out. If you don't learn to build it into your schedule to build your business and you don't stay consistent, you will never attain the income that does set you free. You got to keep that at the forefront of your mind. I want time freedom, time freedom. You can't get more time. You can get more money, but time is precious. And this is the only industry I know that compresses time, doesn't give you a glass ceiling, allows you to be limitless. And as long as you have the right mindset and some hustle, and you have good time management skills, I promise you, you can do epic things in a short period of time. I just have to manage multiple kids, birthdays, dogs, cats. It's insane. And I love every minute of it because listen, I never want to go back. It's hard to be broke. And it's actually hard to build a business and have a lot of responsibilities when you're doing really well. But I'll choose the not being broke any day. It just solves a lot of problems.
Yeah. Having
all of us would, I think, or if they took the money and gave it to someone else. But most people would like more money, even if they don't think that money is very good.
Also gone through losing everything, as you probably know, I lost my gym in 2008 as well. Very ironic. We literally went through the same thing. Horrible time. Didn't know how we were going to feed our kids. But until you feel that bottom, you cannot appreciate the top. And that's something I really want everybody to understand because they just listen to you, but I know you and I know you're speaking from your heart. Until you feel that pain of loss, you cannot understand how amazing it is to be on top.
It's bittersweet though. I love where we're at, and I know we can do bigger, better things for people all over the world, and we have huge dreams and goals. But it's bittersweet because when you're on your way up, and many of you listening have encountered this, you'll have the naysayers, the dream stealers, the people in your family who tell you you're a joke, who laugh at you at Christmas dinner. How's that stupid MLM doing? Oh, you're not in one of those, are you? You have to encounter and endure a lot. I did. And it's funny. Today, I don't get as much of that because of where I'm at, but I get a lot of haters. And I know almost every top earner I know, it is difficult. The judgment that comes on you because you made it. But I'll tell you, I always say to myself, I understand now. I'm not one of those, haters feel me. It just doesn't bother me anymore, Mel, because at first I was hurt. I was like, don't they know that? Like,
oh, so hard for them. They get haters. Oh, we're not haters. We're educators. And
Hi.
Fancy meeting you here in the middle of this video. I am annoyed because I just retaped the ending and now it didn't work and I have to retape the ending again. Alright, so we were in the middle of this podcast and Danielle and Melford, real name, is talking about, how hard it is to be at the top.
It's bittersweet though. I love where we're at, and I know we can do bigger, better things for people all over the world, and we have huge dreams and goals. But it's bittersweet because when you're on your way up, and many of you listening have encountered this, you'll have the naysayers, the dream stealers, the people in your family who tell you you're a joke, who laugh at you at Christmas dinner. How's that stupid MLM doing? Oh, you're not in one of those, are you? You have to.
Isn't it interesting that she brought all those things up and apparently she's successful? So why do people do that? Why do you think they do that with network marketing? And she uses a couple of terms a few times like dream stealers, etc. And I think that's her little way of saying, F you to the haters, because she does call people haters later. But these people are your family, your friends, the people who have always been there, regardless of whether you're making them money or not. So, can we listen to those people who don't stand to gain anything by you being in this company, please?
Encounter and endure a lot. I did. And it's funny. Today, I don't get as much of that because of where I'm at, but I get a lot of haters. And I know almost every top earner I know, it is difficult. The judgment that comes on you because you made it.
Okay, so let's talk about that. She said she doesn't get as much hate, or she doesn't get as much criticism now because she's making money, possibly. And it's not haters. We're not haters. Hi. We're educators. And basically what we're doing, it's not hateful to present facts about the industry. The FTC has facts, the AARP has facts, and some of the businesses themselves have income disclosure statements. Okay? It's not hate to present that information. And I think that you just get to a point like her where she's earning enough money to drown out the naysayers, the dream stealers. So they're not as important. But to frame them in such a way is it's appropriate for her, to her point of view. She's trying to make other people realize, oh, it didn't bother me and look how successful I am. But it's sneaky as well, because you cannot be as successful as her because of X, Y, and Z, whatever the reason is. Didn't get in early enough, didn't do this, don't have a following, etc., etc. And obviously this company, this new company, Awakend, these people all seem to have some sort of association before then, and it's like their moment. Okay, when we get to start a company, this is what's going to happen. So it's interesting sort of looking at it from a distance.
But I'll tell you, I always say to myself, I understand now. I'm not one of those, oh, haters fuel me. It just doesn't bother me anymore, Mel, because at first I was hurt. I was like, don't they know that, like, I really blood, sweat, and teared this, like, that this didn't fall in my lap. You would think, like a lot of people would cheer you on. You really find out, though, at the bottom who your friends are.
Okay, no one's ever going to cheer you on if the way that you make money is by exploiting people. No one is going to be cheering that on, except for maybe like Jeff Bezos or Donald Trump. He would love that. That's got Trump written all over it. But I love that she has coined a new verb. I blood, sweat, and tearsed it. You worked hard. We get it. We get it. And you know what? That's not a problem. We don't care about your work ethic. It is a problem for yourselves. For example, my ever-present example, Tony from Monet, who did spend a few years, she wrote books and she was the big figurehead. Check out Savvy Writes Books review of Tony's book. It is fantastic. So if you take your foot off the gas, yep, you may get some flack for that, and you might have your downline disappear a few years after. But I don't think there's too many people in MLMs who don't work hard. They work hard. They work their butts off. The problem is how they're compensated. That's not equal for the amount of work they put in. You know, even as much as I dislike Lily Zaremba, she works hard. That girl is always working. She doesn't rest, really. The only time I sort of saw her rest was when she got her boobs done. But even then, she was on a live, talking about how the procedure went, etc., etc. So we acknowledge people work hard in this. That's not the problem. It's that they're not paid fairly. They're not paid for the hours they work. They're only paid on recruiting and selling. So that's the problem.
And you certainly find out at the top who your friends are. And by no means am I saying I'm angry at anyone. I really do live in a state of forgiveness, but I've still had some people recently pass judgment just based on my income. And I'm like, you guys, you have no idea what it took, because if you think we're just eating bonbons and we didn't like bleed for this.
Yeah.
And I know now it's easy when you really think about it. We're irritating and we're making those people feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And it's because they want more or they need to get out of their own way. And it makes people uncomfortable sometimes when you're successful. So I encourage.
Wrong. Just irrefutably wrong. So wrong. Some of the people who are in the anti-MLM community now were successful, were up there with you, but they got to a point where they knew that they could not ethically remain in the company without knowing how the money was made from the bottom up. All right? And that's the difference between you and them. And on the other side of the coin, for someone who's never been in an MLM, me, I don't want your life either. I hate sales. It's terrible. And I have a career. It's fine. I love it. Okay? I love being a teacher. I love being creative. My life is good. All right? Yeah, we have low days. We have, times when we're struggling with our sobriety. I'm speaking about just me, not our. Sometimes I struggle with my sobriety. Sometimes I struggle with my depression. Absolutely. But I'm not criticizing the MLM industry because I'm jealous. I do not want that life. I'm saying it because I care about people and I don't want them to be tricked into this based on you earning 7 figures and you saying it's possible for them when it's absolutely not. And that's just not coming from, facts and figures. That's, we have the FTC study, we've got the AARP study, and we also have income disclosure statements from the companies themselves. It's all written out there. So it's got nothing to do with being jealous.
Encourage everyone who's listening or watching that if you're getting that now because you're doing well, I'm sure you got it when you were on your way up and no one believed in you. You're always going to encounter the naysayers, the dream stealers, the critical people, but you're going to be surrounded by a lot of beautiful people, and you're going to get to do a lot of beautiful, blessed things for others as you achieve.
Thanks for adding in that blessed bit there, because she had to remind us that it's a religious calling for some reason. And so she's saying that, you know what? Most people do receive support when they are trying to do something for themselves, for their career, for their family. Most people get the support. It's only MLMs that where people are, and it's people you love, and they're a little bit like, oh, are you sure? That's not hate, that's not confusion, that's not dissing you or whatever. It's because of the model. They're not sure that you're going to succeed because of the model. And that's okay, because they have nothing to gain from you not being in it, whatever. It's someone you love who's telling you, be careful. And we need to respect that more. That's a red flag if you are not listening to them. And it indicates information control, which is part of the BITE model, which is a cult sort of acronym. It's like a measure of, I'm not explaining it well, sorry, but Stephen Hassan is an author who studied cults, and it's all about how cults form, and it's called the BITE model. And I will try to find a little thing to flip up soon. But part of the BITE model is information control. So, for example, in Jonestown, they did try to limit the amount of information getting out from Guyana by censoring mail, and vice versa by, censoring the mail that was allowed in as well. So that's a little example of information control. And this is similar, okay? And then on the other side of the coin, she's saying, well, it doesn't matter if you get support from your family or loved ones because you find support in the organization. Well, of course you do, because you being there is something that is positive for them, their pockets, They've got a motive for you to be there. And you can't trust that people are going to tell you the truth, even if there are the random people who say that they, I tell everybody what it's like, I think of Tracy from Elamere who said, everybody knows what's happening when they sign up to my team. But I don't think there's a lot of uplines who are like that. Oh, and she had to just throw in blessed there too. She had to remind us that she is, it's a mission from God. Oh yeah. I'm gonna pause it for a minute.
Achieve your dreams and your financial goals. So don't let that stuff stop you from doing epic things, because there's nothing greater than some of the things we don't talk about it publicly, but we've been able to pay for funerals for people who, had no money. We've been able to help people with cars that were, or losing their homes. Like, that's the stuff that lights me and Scott up. We love it. And we always say, people don't know that about us. So of course they see the nice cars, the nice house. They have no idea. Go do you. Don't worry.
So now they do, because you told them, okay? Here you are, bragging about it. Yeah, look, it wasn't super braggy, but ask yourself, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to support people like that? Could it be that they're in your downline and you want to make sure they don't leave? Because if they leave, then you have less money. So, yeah, it might cost you a couple of grand to, cover the funeral or to cover their whatever. But if they stay in the company, that's well worth it for you, isn't it? You know? So it's like, yep, you're giving with one hand. Fantastic. Well done. So philanthropic, very charity, you know. But what's underneath it is still manipulation. Okay? And it's because the system is broken. The MLM system is broken. All right. And, well, capitalism is as well, because it makes people, you know, stay poor who are poor. So, yep, you can say all of that stuff, wonderful, you've given, but underneath it is still yucky.
Don't worry about the people who chirp. I still sleep at night, you know. I still go to
Yuck. That means it's like I keep saying, there's people who get to the top and see how they earn the money, and they have a choice to make. They either stay knowing how it destroys people, or they go.
sleep and I still smile as I fall asleep because I've learned not to let it bother me.
Yeah, love it. So let's move on to the new passion, which anybody who can see the sign behind you knows that you're launching a new podcast. I want you to tell the world about it. Let's hear about your newest passion.
It's coming out soon. It's called Rewired to Win. It's not published yet or out there, but lots of the episodes are done. It was not.
I am going to look for these, but I'm not sure they'll exist. I just poured out, like, this is Gaviscon, which is for, like, indigestion, and it looked a bit gross, so don't worry about my facial expressions.
Not something that I was looking to do. It wasn't on my list of goals. I just had a bunch of people chirp in my ear. They're like, every time I try to find your trainings, Danelle, I have to search for them and go through different Facebook pages. And like, I had all these archived and there was no place where they lived and breathed.
She also used the same word chirped for two different things there, where it was more about the like what other people were saying, but when she was talking about the haters, she was saying, you know, don't worry about that chirping. But then she said it again in this context. So it's interesting that not many people actually use that term. So it sounds like it's, in the first case, it was something to sort of write them off, but now we like the chirpers. So it's interesting that she's playing with language like that.
I never had my own website. I'm not that girl. Mm-hmm. And someone said to me a year ago, you need a Danelle Meoli site. I want all your trainings there. It's really difficult for us as your teammates and as your upcoming leaders. And I thought, okay, I'll just hire someone to do a website and we'll just upload everything there. And then he was like, you need to do a podcast. You're a motivational speaker. And I said, oh, really? Like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to use a microphone, right? Like this, I don't know how to use the cameras, the lights, like all of this. I am technologically challenged. And last year we were able to put this entire studio. This used to be a wine room in my house, but we weren't stocking.
Oh, the privilege of having a wine room in your house. And why did a person who was designing your website recommend a podcast? And who's that person to recommend it? You can just put speeches on YouTube or have them on the website, even if they were behind a paywall rather than a podcast. And don't pretend that you can't use technology. This podcast was out in 2022. You know, she obviously had used it, but definitely she's in a different tax bracket to most of her downline, because, you know, they're trying to pay for funerals and cars and house payments, and she's got a wine room, which she converted into her content room. Really relatable there, Rachel Hollis.
Packing it with wine because we're on a fitness kick. So we ripped it apart. We actually have, that's a lighted sign. It looks amazing. And I've learned how to record myself, upload things. If I can do it at 47, anybody can. And it's all about mindset for me. I want to train people on how to overcome, how to start their life over, and how to have supernatural acceleration faster than they could have imagined, how to get rid of the weeds in their brain and get the right thoughts and start speaking like a champion. Because when they do, they see beautiful things start to happen in their lives. And once people realize renewal of the mind and thought, that your thoughts matter and that thoughts are things, oh, it is epic to see what they start to achieve. So that's kind of just the essence of the podcast, is get your mind right and manifest amazing stuff, because you're either putting in good or putting in bad into your subconscious mind. And you're either, whatever you're putting in is what's coming out. So whatever you're thinking on today is what's going to be here tomorrow. And so far, so good. Thank you. I'm very excited about it.
Man, she barely takes a breath when she's talking, because I was waiting to stop that. And that's the second time I've heard her, or maybe the third time I've heard her describe what's on her podcast, and I still have no fucking idea what's on her podcast. It was like projectile word vomiting, and it was brain, weed the brain, and manifest, and mind, blah 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 blah. Okay, is it going to be about network marketing? Like, let's just chill for a bit here, Danielle. She's very exhausting, to be honest, but how interesting that she's using all the weasel words that I'm going to focus on. Mindset, pivot, especially manifest. Oh my goodness, Oh, this is just, it's the Jesse Lee and Rakan thing, where it's this verbal mutual gratification, a wanker fest where everybody's just like, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. Yuck.
Yeah, man, I love it. So, hey, before I ask you the last question, I know a lot of folks don't end up reading the show notes. They might be watching this on their phone, but they've certainly enjoyed what you're doing, and they've heard that you've launched an amazing company. So do me a favor. What is the best way for folks to contact you?
Couple ways. They can, it's going to be rewired to win podcast.com will be one spot. That'll be live shortly. It's not live yet. But right on Facebook is where most people reach out to me. They click follow and then they send me a message, and it's just Danelle Meoli. There is no I in my name. A lot of people misspell my first name. So it's Danelle, and last name Meoli, Meoli. And that's the mainstay of most of my social media. I don't do, I'm not dancing on TikTok yet, but my kids want me to, but I'm good. And I have an Instagram, it's called Official Danelle Meoli. So usually through social media, people reach out, and I love it because I love to meet new people and hear their stories and just, see what we can do to help them live their best life.
Love it. Okay. Last question. This is the good one. I would love to hear your 6-month goal, personal, professional, whatever you want to show.
And this one is curious as well, because within 4 months, she's opening Awakend. So let's see what she says.
Share with the folks.
6-month goal.
Please.
We are working very hard to break 500,000 distributors. We're at 487,000 as of today. So I believe we can do that in 90 days, but at what we're tracking, we probably do it in 5 months. Mm-hmm. So my 6-month goal is to be at over 500,000 customers and reps in hopefully 10 countries by then. And that's my professional goal. Mm-hmm. My second professional goal I want to throw in there is that there are several leaders that are up and coming that have been working very hard the last few years that I'm going to literally cry tears of joy when they hit diamond. That's the rank in our company that you have to bleed for. And there's a few who are on their way and that I am supremely proud of. So to break some more diamonds here in the US and Canada.
I didn't catch it last time, but she said that diamond rank is one that people bleed for. Wow. And in a team that's 480,000, 500,000 people, like, you wouldn't even be able to fit them in to Australia's MCG, the one that can hold the most crowd, the biggest crowd. wow. You would not know people, even your bigger leaders, you wouldn't know because it'd be so many. Wow. Are there companies that big and we don't know them? That seems crazy to me.
And my 6-month goal is to be in a 5-6 again. We're going to Hawaii, as you know, and I'm excited for my fitness journey and getting back into fighting shape and enjoying every moment of it because life is short, guys. So, that's my goal.
Amen. Love it. Danelle Meoli, thank you so much for being on. Again, it's such a rare pleasure that I get to have both a friend and somebody in business on the same show. So it's just so great. Talking to somebody that I actually got to grow up with is just amazing on here. But, folks, you got Danielle's contact information. You're also going to see her bio in the show notes. So if you want to get a hold of her, please contact Danelle. Good luck on your podcast. I can't wait until it comes out. I will definitely be a listener. And folks,
we will have fun.
I love it. Thank you. So again, thanks so much for being on. And I just want you to enjoy your day. Thank you for being on the show because they needed to hear some of the stuff that you spoke about. You got to really reveal some deep stuff about how you guys made it through a very difficult time, and everybody needs that inspiration. So thanks again, Danelle. I really appreciate you being on today.
Thank you for having me on. And guys, never settle. Go after your best life. There's so many people around you to help you. And I'm grateful to be one of them. And thank you, Mel. It was such a pleasure to be on. And I love seeing what you and Conchetta have done. It's pretty incredible.
Thanks, Danelle. Have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so her name is Conchetta. There we have it. The CEO, perhaps founder of Awakend, Danelle Meoli. Remember, her surname was Rich before that. And that was, it had its interesting moments. And especially the 6-month thing, because 6 months after this point in time, it hasn't even happened yet. And she's started a company. How? How did this all happen, I wonder? And is she bringing everyone with her? Like, that was a big organization, her team, if it's 480,000. That's crazy. That's so many people. Wow. I'm a bit speechless, really. I didn't think that there were such big companies, but there must be. There must be. All right. And now that makes a lot more sense for people who are fighting against it because they are making so much money. And that's what gets people cranky. I say cranky. That's what gets people litigious. And they get, I don't know, threatening in the DMs and stuff like that because essentially the anti-MLM movement is all about disrupting the business model. And the business model makes some people lots of money. And if you are going to affect that, a lot of people will fight against it. So, yeah, it makes sense that people want to keep it. But it would be really nice if people could just be, making money ethically. Not billionaires. We don't need billionaires. It's just so dumb, that we've got to such a point in our lives where some people can't afford to live in houses anymore while other people earn more money than they can spend. But that's capitalism. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. I hope that you, I don't know, learned something about this person. A lot of parallels to Elamir, and especially, having a female CEO. So I think that's going to be the norm from now on. We had seen male CEOs who were revered and, looking at them with clarity. Stuart McMillan of Monate? What a dork. You know what I mean? Like, I think that the shine's starting to come off of those sorts of people, because, you know, in a female-dominated industry, it would make sense to have more females in the C-suite, right? So it'll be interesting to see how it all progresses. But we're here, and we're going to disrupt. And hopefully people are just going to be a little bit more informed to what is happening, because they're offering NFTs. Who cares? NFTs, especially these ones, because you can't trade them outside of the company, the NFTs mean nothing. It's a JPEG. It's a glorified JPEG. All right? Okay, so thanks for coming along, giving us a like, giving us a comment, and we'll be back. I'll try to get back on track this week of doing my usual bit of a reaction post in the morning. See how we go. And I have been planning to do a live with DC forever, and with great expectations. No, gracious expectations. Sorry, G. You're great. Just like, God, who wrote Charles Dickens? My brain. It's daytime. Look, see, can you see the light? And my brain's broken then. Alright. We will see you next time, people. And now's the time where it's a little bit awkward. Okay, goodbye.